After picking ourselves back up, Okita and I began to head for Edo. How you guys doing in the day, by the way? God damn, of all days, the sky has to be bright and sunny today. Just my luck, what the hell? A little bit of overcast or rain would have been better, sheesh. Right. Normally, the sunlight would have been quite pleasant. But now, the sunlight beat harshly on my skin and it nearly suffocated me. Okay, so she is affected by that. We were just walking! It wasn't even strenuous. I had never realized how unbearable this condition could be. You okay, Chizuru? Maybe we should lay low until nightfall. No, I'm fine. Liar. What? I'm not lying! I drank the water of life too, you know. What makes you think I don't know what you're going through? And besides, you're a demon, so you're probably experiencing more pain than anything we have. He scolded me sternly, but there was nothing really that I could say. Why would I be in more pain than you? We don't really have any basis for that thought. So, are you in pain right now, or are you sucking it up because you pity me or something? Well... Words struggled to come to mind. Why don't we take a break for a sec, huh? If we find some shade under the trees, it'll be a little easier to handle. But we don't have time to Relax. Edo is still a long ways away, so we might as well rest anyway. Trust me, it's better in the long run. Besides, it's not like you're the only one suffering right now. Oh, right. I was so focused on my own discomfort that I had forgotten to consider how Okita must be feeling. Since he had become a fury, it must have been agonizing for him to be under sunlight as well. Oh, I'm so sorry for being insensitive. Aw, come on. There's nothing to apologize for. But I know you hope to reach Kondo as soon as possible, Okita. Okita averted his gaze. His silence had all but confirmed what I was only thinking. Of course I'm worried about Kondo, but... he's got Hijikata with him. I'm sure I don't have to worry about the worst-case scenario. I sensed the coldness in his voice. I was sure that, at the end of the day, Okita trusted Hijikata still, but... it seemed as though this trust was conditional, and that Okita nursed an inner conflict about it. Hijikata knows what he's doing. Yeah, it's crazy to think about how he's always thinking 2 steps ahead. He's relentless about it. It's something I hate about him. Don't give me that look. Even the captains of the Shinsengumi are allowed to have our opinions about one another. All that crap aside, what I'm trying to say is that time's not a luxury we can afford right now. How should I respond? I'm still scared. Or I'm sorry. I don't really know what the context of I'm sorry is. I don't really want to say, I'm scared. So I'm gonna do, I'm sorry? Although I don't know what I'm sorry for. I'm sorry. All of the guilt in my heart was almost impossible to contain by this point, so I found myself apologizing. It's not that I don't trust you or Hijikata. It's just that I couldn't help but feel anxious about Kondo's well-being. Okay. This is an interesting thought process, but okay. If Kaoru hadn't gotten in our way, then Okita and I would have been able to find the chief and ensure his safety. Ah, okay, so she feels guilty for her brother interfering with him getting to Kondo. Thinking about what choices we could have changed did nothing to stop the flow of tears down my face. Hey, Chizuru, why are you crying? Because I'm the reason Kaoru comes after us. If it weren't for me, Kaoru wouldn't have been in the picture, meaning Okita wouldn't have needed to drink the water of life. As if the curse of becoming a fury wasn't enough, the serum did nothing to cure his tuberculosis. Instead, it was consuming him, spreading it through his body. You're an idiot. That's what you're worrying about. That's not all on you. But... I'm telling you, it's fine, so quit whining. Okita's slender fingers reached to touch my cheeks. He gently nudged the tears away before they could drop onto the ground. It was bewildering to witness this tender side of Okita, and at first I flinched, worried he would hurt me. Fair. I felt bad thinking that he was wasting any amount of emotional energy on me as I cried in front of him. Oh, Chizuru. But the tears had kept flowing, and like clockwork, Okita comforted me with the soft tickle of his hands as they wiped away each tear with a warm touch. Chizuru, you're a sweetheart, but I think for now you gotta start thinking about yourself too, kid. His voice was so familiar to me now, and he spoke to me as if he were assuring a small child. You remember, don't you? It was my idea to bring you here to Kofu with me. And it was my idea not to leave you behind there and have you with me up in Edo. So, stop being a crybaby. Don't worry about a thing. Just let me watch out for you. Okita's words were quite thoughtful, and it was difficult to feel like I deserved to hear them. However, he had a way of wiggling his way into my ear to melt away my anxieties. Oh, your air-wiggling ways, Okita. Thinking about all of this made it harder to stop crying. Got it. I couldn't look him in the eye, but I nodded. Don't just nod. Answer me. Okay. Yay! I forgot that we had picked a choice. Very well. You're a good girl, Chizuru. Okita wiped my tears once more, delicately placing his fingers under my chin until I stopped crying. And in his warmth, I began to realize... Yeah! There it is! Admission to herself. Nice. This is good. I like this. I am in love with Okita. I loved him more than anything or anyone, and there was no chance of stopping it. I never thought I'd let anyone ever see me cry aside from Kondo. I believe that if I died, no one would give a shit. His voice was barely above a whisper, and each word seemed to pull out of him the reminder of distant, bitter memories. What? I raised my head up in the hopes of asking him what he had meant by that, but... Don't worry about it. Okita shut his mouth, leaving me to ponder what had been hurting this man for so long. We'll find out one day. Come here, Chizuru. Okay. Okita clasped my hand, leading me to a cool, shaded area away from the trail. Aww. Look at you holding hands and things. Oh. Taking a seat under the tree was a soothing reprieve, one I felt immediately as I left the sunlight. See? All better, right? I've been a fury for longer than you have. Take it from the master. Thank you, Okita. If we take a breather here, I think I'll get myself to keep going. Nah, resting isn't enough. I think it's better if you sleep. What? I'm fine. I'm not tired enough to sleep. Seriously, you are an even bigger pain in the ass every time we talk. Look, this isn't something you're gonna realize, but you look like shit, like you're gonna pass out. Well... Watching him sigh out of frustration made it more difficult to offer any more objections. Here, come closer. If you don't get warm, you'll catch a cold. Oh? Okita drew me into his chest. Oh! Oh, hi! Yeah, I'm okay with all of this. The suddenness of his actions made me flustered, and it was difficult to resist. See? I'll sleep right next to you like this. You don't have to hold back. Okita. I barely had any room to budge in his arms, and I was tight in his warm embrace. My cheeks burned with color. I could almost feel the blood rise to the surface of my skin, and, of course, I was blushing. Again. Aww. I'd like an Okita snuggle. Don't be such a stiff. I'm not gonna eat you. I know, but... How could I keep myself calm when the man I loved held me delicately in his arms? A thought that is perfectly reasonable under the situation or circumstances there, Chizuru. I was pretty sure Okita hadn't intended anything by the gesture, but, are you that sure? Come on, just relax. You're gonna have to sleep sooner or later. This way you'll be able to move throughout the night in no time. Oh, okay. Aww. She trusted him. I closed my eyes. Being in the protective arms of Okita, enraptured by his scent and his kindness, I felt all of my worries drifting away across the expanse of the mountain. The soft pitter-patter of his heartbeat caught my ear, and as I rested my cheeks on him, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Right before I fell asleep. I could hear Okita muttering to himself. I've never thought twice before killing someone. This entire time, I never thought I'd care about someone hating or holding a grudge towards me. In that moment, my body wouldn't move. I guess that means my heart knew it didn't want you to hate me. My head felt out of sorts as I tried falling asleep, making the attempt to parse what he had been saying. Hazy endeavor? However, the sentiment behind his words made all the difference, and I witnessed an emotional display that he would have never shown me. I became swept in this sensation, this acute sense of trust and safety, and my heart melted. Aw, you two love each other so much. That's so cute. Gosh darn my heart. Oh, that's the end of chapter 1. What a beautiful end to chapter 1. No preview pictures for chapter 2 yet. Fine. I will just have to wait. Okay. Hold on, Souji. There's something very important I need to do. Oh, great. Mid-corruption. Okay, well that's new. And 50% blossoms? Corruption mid. Has to do with the water of life. Okay. Does it go up or down when he drinks our blood? And do you want it to be high or low? I have questions. Chizuru, this way. Let's hide here. Okay. Gotta be sneaky boys. We hid in the shadows of a back alley. I peeked around the corner to see Imperial Army forces, fresh in the Western garb, approaching us. Both Okita and I looked at one another, holding our breaths as we waited for them to pass us. As soon as they were out of our sight, Okita let out a tremendous sigh out of relief. Jeez, I thought Edo was under the jurisdiction of the Shogun still. Why do we have to snoop around and hide like we're criminals or something? I mean, it's not like I'll have any problem killing anyone who gives us trouble, but still. Doing that would probably just dig us in a bigger hole. By the time we'd arrived in Edo, we had discovered that the state of the city had completely changed. Numerous Imperial troops were patrolling what seemed to be every street corner, so there was hardly a moment when we could lower our guard. We're almost there, so let's haul ass. We're in deep trouble if they come back this way. Okay. We carefully dodged enemy soldiers as we weaved through the city streets before making our way back to the hiding place. Alright. When we made our way back to safety, a feeling of relief washed over me. Ah, good to be back. Feels like we've shaved off 5 years of our lives from the stress of trying to get back here. I gasped at the thought of us actually having reduced our lifespans from the constant movement. Uh-huh. Aw, don't give me that. I'm just messing with you. Nice job, Chizuru. I'm proud you came all this way. No. My cheeks felt hot, and I realized that I just wasn't used to Okita being so encouraging. Doesn't seem like Yamazaki's around here. I guess we can find Dr. Matsumoto tomorrow to catch up with whatever the hell's happening in Edo. You're right. What was going on in Edo? How were the Shinsengumi men doing? We were completely in the dark with these things. Just the two of us, my goodness. Alright, let's get to bed soon. Being on high alert all day really tires you out. It's been a while since we've slept on a futon. As we hustled back to Edo from Kofu, we had a scant amount of time to travel, let alone give ourselves time to stay in an inn, so we usually slept outdoors. In the same position every time. Do you want me to sleep next to you? Just like we did out there? Oh, what's the matter? You're blushing. You weren't expecting me to say something else, were you? What do you mean by that? Don't tease me! I'm not teasing you. You're so warm when you sleep, just telling you the truth. I wonder if Okita thought of me as nothing more than just a silk kimono and a warming stone, as if that was all I could offer. Oh, Chizuru, your thoughts are so great. Oh my goodness. Am I just a silk kimono and a warming stone to you? Meh. I'm insulted. I'll return to my room. Please get some sleep, Okita. Okay. Good night. I stood up and bowed courteously, and just as I stepped from out of the room... Ah! I heard Okita's voice shriek behind me, and I rushed back to him. Okita? Oh crap, not again. Gah! Ah! He dug his nails firmly into the flesh of his bicep as he was consumed with an agonizing pain. This reaction, there was no doubt what it could be. It must be bloodlust. Is that gonna happen to me? Oh, alright, here we go again. Well, we'll save again. And then after this scene is done, I'm gonna check our corruption thing and see if like, this choice is what affects it. I'm assuming it is. If I were to give him some of my blood, then it should soothe the symptoms of his bloodlust. I clasped the handle of my kodachi on my hip, but... for some reason, I couldn't bring myself to draw it out. Would it actually be safe for him to drink my blood like this? Oh yeah, right, now we've got... Well, he can't get more water of life than he already had, right? That's not a thing. Kaoru had told us that drinking the water of life could cure Okita's tuberculosis, but in the end, it was all a lie. So could the possibility of drinking my blood helping to suppress the serum symptoms be a lie too? Then, was there anything I could do for him? Okita had seemed understandably adamant in his refusal to drink blood. He licked your arm the last time. Would it be right of me to make the same proposition to him as he suffered before my eyes? As he struggled through short, staggered breaths, Okita blurted out a question. Yeah, you're not gonna offer me any blood today. Trying to play hard to get. Okita. It pained me too much to watch him writhe on the floor helplessly. But if you drink my blood... oh, fine then. If you'll be like that, I won't force it. Can you... get out? I can't let you see me like this. I can't do this. I couldn't just walk out on Okita, who was forced to endure the overwhelming anguish alone. Without hesitating, I unsheathed my kodachi. Finally. I carefully slid the sharp blade across my palm. Blood began to drip from the open wound. As Okita glanced at me with desperate eyes, I held out my blood-drenched hand to him. I'm sorry for second-guessing it. Please drink my blood, Okita. Chizuru. Okita's red eyes dilated, a glassy haze covering them. And then... Ooh! Alright! Got our first picture of this. He inched his mouth closer to my palm. I felt a dull pain as the suckle of his warm mouth drew my blood into his full, tender lips. Do you have to think of them as full and tender, though, right now? I mean, alright. The bloodlust had rendered him ravenous, and as he sucked more forcefully, a pressure shot up the length of my arm in rhythm with his heavy breathing. I promise you, from now on, no matter how thirsty for blood I become, or how painful these episodes are,
he spoke as if he were making an oath to me.
The only blood I'm drinking is yours.
Wow. His somber promise made my chest tighten, rather. They were comfortless words which brought me closer to crying.
Okita.
It was possible that a time would come when, no matter how much blood I gave him, the pain suffered from his affliction would be unabatable. I had seen so many warriors from the Fury Corps succumb to such a fate. A secret division led by Keisuke Sanan, comprised of men who have turned into Furies. They perform covert and nightly operations. Against my best wishes, I was sure that the curse of the Fury would soon devour his body, eventually reducing both his mind and body into nothingness. However, when it appeared that Okita had finished drinking my blood, he began to mutter softly. Hey, you look better.
I'm sorry.
What are you apologizing for, Okita?
I'm a diseased freak with no hope for the future. What's the point in hurting yourself, cutting your flesh just to satisfy my hunger?
It's not like that. Don't worry about my hand. The wound will heal immediately.
Thanks, kid. Because of you, I've still got some sense in me. If I were to go crazy with bloodlust again, would you mind helping me like you just did again?
It was difficult to respond quickly. I was so astonished by his request. But, without giving it much more thought, I stared Okita in the eye and told him,
I will be by your side, Okita. No matter what.
I made a vow to him, just as he did to me moments earlier, and together we nodded. Alright. That's a blood promise. Knock, 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 knock. Alright. Ah! Drinking blood lowered the corruption. I hope that's good. The following evening, I wrote a letter addressed to Dr. Matsumoto. As soon as he got word of our return to Edo, he visited us in the hiding place immediately. However, he was not alone. Hey! Long time no see, girls!
Chizuru! I am so delighted to see you have traveled safely.
Sen and Kimigiku too? What are the two of you doing here? One of the demons whom the protagonist had met in Kyoto. She serves as the head of the Yasei clan and often goes by the name Sen. And Kimigiku. Where would you be? 5? Kaoru? Kimigiku. A demon who serves Princess Sen as her personal bodyguard and spy. She works as a geigi in Shimabara to ascertain information from her clients. I'm surprised to see her with Dr. Matsumoto.
I have my methods. I have quite a large network. I have spoken to you about this before, correct? Both the shogunate and the domain leaders are well acquainted with the existence of demons.
Oh? I don't remember you mentioning that, actually. Oh. The princess has been very worried about you. However, when we learned that the Shinsengumi had left Kyoto, we had no way to reach you.
You proved rather difficult to locate. Would it have killed you to at least write us a letter?
I'm so sorry.
All in good humor. It really was no trouble. Dr. Matsumoto has graciously informed me how difficult that time must have been for you.
Hearing her say she was a representative of a demon clan kind of took me by surprise, honestly.
Enough. Cut to the chase. Why are you here? Don't tell me you're back to take her to your demon village or something like that.
After Okita's interruption, Sen's expression suddenly dropped.
As it turns out, word of Kodo's activities has come to my attention. I am merely visiting because I thought you would like to know.
Really? Sen glanced over at Kimigiku, who nodded in agreement to Sen's news. As all of you know, Kodo performed research on the Water of Life under the command of the Tokugawa shogunate. He is a descendant of the Yukimura clan, whose ties extend to the Tokugawa clan in the east. Once Japan's largest demon clan in its eastern region, its village was viciously wiped from existence by humans, and it was once the protagonist's home.
Supposedly, his intent was to increase the potency of the water of life.
Increase the potency?
Is that possible? Sanan was performing his own research for the Shinsengumi for years, and he came up with nothing.
Well, I would refrain from casting doubt on this. Okita, I am sure you are no stranger to this, but when the water of life was first introduced, it had been far more volatile and unwieldy, quite unlike what we know of it today, yes? Its widespread use in its current form suggests to me that it is still possible to increase the strength of its effects, making it a far more dangerous weapon.
But even if my father is the only one who has any of this information, he's still nowhere to be found. Sen's face suddenly beamed with a bright grin.
You see, I have successfully discovered where Kodo's whereabouts are.
Are you serious?
I told you I have my methods, did I not? My birds sing to me from all corners.
So, where is my father? Mutsu, the location of where the Yukimura village used to be. A term referring to the northeastern region of Japan. My birthplace?
Yes, I have no doubt about it. I am somewhat familiar with the location, so I shall have a map drawn for you in no time.
I can't thank you enough, Sen.
It would not surprise me to learn that Kodo is still performing his Fury research. All that I wish for is that he develops an antidote to reverse the effects of the water of life.
If my father actually were continuing his research on the water of life, even after having been detached from the Shinsengumi, perhaps he was able to find the breakthrough that had eluded Sanan for so long. I pondered the possibility of finding a cure that could reverse the effects of the serum permanently. I found myself compelled to glance at Okita, who surely had his own thoughts on the matter.
You want to go there?
Okita turned his head inquisitively. I want to see my father. And beyond finding him, if there was any chance of us finding the antidote for the water of life, then I wanted to give Okita a chance to reclaim his humanity. But if this was to be my quest, then I may need to be separated from Okita.
This may be a difficult decision to make right now, as I am sure you'll have much to think about.
Sen's tone was rather suggestive, as if she had more to say, and she looked at Dr. Matsumoto.
I am unsure how to put this.
The doctor pinched his fingers on the bridge of his nose between his brows, stroking in deep thought. It looked as if something troubled him. What was wrong? What could the doctor want to say? I braced myself for the worst-case scenario, breathing in deeply as I waited for him to speak. After a tense moment, Dr. Matsumoto turned his gaze towards Okita, sighing heavily.
Kondo has surrendered to the Imperial Army.
What? Really?
What?
Okita's face turned pale almost instantly. His lips began to quiver uncontrollably.
What are you talking about? If this is your idea of a joke, you picked the wrong fucking time.
I know this may be hard to take, but it's true.
Okita's eyes grew wide.
That would never happen! Why the hell would Kondo... What was he doing? What was Hijikata doing?
Okita shouted frantically at the doctor, and his anger turned into a frenzy. Uh-oh. Okita, please, calm down! I tried to grab him from behind as he began thrashing about.
Calm? How the hell am I supposed to keep calm? How'd this happen? Didn't he make it back safely from Kofu?
I am uncertain of the details. However, Kondo's surrender was made official. This was brought to me directly from the leaders of the former shogunate.
How could Kondo surrender everything to the Imperial Army? Could it really have happened? Why? So, what does this mean for the Shinsengumi? If Kondo surrendered, does it mean...
The group has not yielded their surrender yet. Hijikata is currently leading the remaining men up north.
Hijikata is... I could only hope for the best. I knew that Hijikata held Kondo in the highest regard. However, I could see him surrendering if it meant keeping Kondo safe while in enemy clutches. Or at least this was what I would have expected from Hijikata.
So, you're saying he abandoned Kondo and he ran off? After giving me that whole spiel saying he'd do whatever it took to make Kondo a daimyo?
A powerful samurai who ruled a fiefdom and commanded vassals of his own. They served the shogun directly.
Kondo trusted Hijikata with everything. That son of a bitch betrayed Kondo!
Okita's veins were popping from his forehead.
Alright, would you mind calming down a bit? You are making assumptions, most of which are uninformed considering you know none of the details.
Who the hell are you? You aren't one of us. Would you mind staying out of this?
Okita! I admonished Okita for taking his frustrations out on Sen, who'd only wanted to help, but he acted as if he were in any position to act hastily, and he directed his next question to Dr. Matsumoto.
So where are they keeping Kondo right now?
What is it you intend to do with that information?
What do you mean? Isn't it obvious? We can't afford to let Kondo die!
It's no use. This matter is beyond any of us in this room, let alone you going foolishly on your own.
Why? I'm a fury! Doesn't matter who the hell gets in my way. None of them stand a chance against my sword!
I'm sure the Imperial government is anticipating the Shinsengumi to attempt to rescue Kondo.
Empire of Japan, a title bestowed upon the Meiji government prior to the end of the Boshin War that focuses on reinstating the emperor as the supreme force of governance. It was created by the Satsuma Choshu forces.
And make no mistake, they will be expecting Furies as a part of the plan as well. Need I remind you that it only took a silver bullet to render you immobile for months?
Okita's head dropped low and he became despondent. His cheeks turned pale as the realization began to sink more deeply and his shoulders trembled. Then Kondo is... Dr. Matsumoto sighed deeply.
I, too, had planned on reaching out to the shogunate leaders to petition for his clemency, but the shogunate is determined to keep things civil between themselves and the Imperial Army. We have everything to lose. Edo will burn under a sea of flames.
No! Kondo had given his life, everything, for years, to both the shogunate and the supreme commander. And after all that he had sacrificed, they were intent on abandoning him towards the very end. Okita stood still, simmering in his angry mood. He turned his back from us and he tried leaving the room without saying a word. Dr. Matsumoto tailed right behind him, grabbing a hold of his shoulder to stop him from going further.
Hold on right there. Where do you think you're going?
Don't make me repeat myself. I'm going to rescue Kondo. That man. I won't rest until I've done everything in my power to protect him.
As a doctor, I can't just stand here and let you leave. I kept my lips tight before, but...
Dr. Matsumoto paused as if he were searching for a precise combination of words to avoid offending Okita.
What? You're gonna say my tuberculosis isn't cured yet, right? So what if it's not? I don't give a shit about my life. If I could save Kondo...
Okita was cut short just as he was raising his voice.
Ah!
Okita!
Yukimura, prepare his bed.
Okay.
I began tending to Okita's bed just as the doctor had instructed.